OP friends! Packard, I'm going to start the video, okay? You want to go sit by yourself? Yeah? Hi, OP friends. So, it's been 2 weeks since my last video. That is a long ass time. I'm so sorry about the delay. I know so many of you were so curious about my typing results that I got back. I have been just swallowed in the world of final exams, but I am all done now. I have had the last 2 weeks to really marinate on my typing results. It's not what I expected at all, and I'm excited to get into that with you and really unpack it. Making these videos has been really hard for me. I kind of got into this OP community and just started recording videos to document my transition from Myers-Briggs into OP, but I started to feel like, and I don't know if I'm making this up in my head, but I started to feel like maybe I messed up and I shouldn't have made these videos without actually being welcomed into the community first. I still don't know. I just tend to do things without really checking in with others. And as my videos progressed, I started to feel uncertainty about myself and where I stand with the tribe. And when I say tribe, I'm talking about the objective personality community. I started to feel a little bit of that intimidation, and I thought maybe I should stop this channel. I don't know, it's just a lot of insecurity. I just feel like, as usual, kind of an outsider, which is fine, I guess. It's just something that I'm trying to work on because I know that it always bites me in the ass. So one thing I did want to clear up, I know I've been making a really big deal about getting typed by certain people in the community, especially Benjamin and his two teams. And I wanted to clarify that I did say that he was meeting with Dave to consult with him on why his teams were coming up with so many different results. It was more to consult on how to identify my savior and demon states better. So in no way is any of this like an official typing. So it's really crazy that today is what, the 16th? So that means we're 9 days away from Christmas, you guys. And I don't know about you guys. Do you guys feel like it's Christmas? This year, my husband and I decided to not even put up the tree. We're just too lazy, honestly. We have one of those fake trees that you have to build. It's just so bulky and it's pokey. Having to string up the lights, it's just like a lot of work just for a couple of weeks. And then we have to put it away. We just decided that this year we weren't going to put the tree up at all. If you guys have been following me, you know that he is a classic Myers-Briggs INTJ. He doesn't really care too much about the holidays to begin with. When I was growing up, my parents really put a lot of magic into Christmas for me. My mom, she always made sure that the tree was just decked out with presents underneath. It just looked beautiful. And they always had like Christmas music going, and it was just such a cozy and safe place that I hold dear to my heart. Now that I'm off on my own, I feel this huge responsibility to keep that same high of the Christmas spirit going, but I don't know, I'm just too lazy, you know? Yeah. I have realized that with age, it is better to use the money wisely to get the person something that they actually want or something practical versus all these little gifts. 9 out of 10 times, because I am so disorganized, all of those little things just end up in places and piles and drawers, and I just don't know what to do with them, and I don't know how to categorize them in my own home. And so they just sit there and sit there, and they drive me nuts because I don't know what to do with it. And then maybe like 7 years down the line, I'll finally end up donating it. The holidays are a little bit stressful for me. I like buying gifts for my friends and my family members. I just don't like that I have to get them all at the same time to meet one certain deadline. Most of the time I'll procrastinate it and then I have to freaking like wrap it. And I have no patience for wrapping, you guys. I am the type of person that I'll literally just wrap it up in recycled paper that I found on my desk and call it a day, or throw it into like a bag and then just tape the bag and be like, here. I admire the people who can make their presents look almost Pinterest perfect, but I just don't have the patience to do it. And I also don't like going out and buying all that stuff because at the end of the day, it's trash, right? You're buying trash. Once they unwrap it, it's in the trash. I'm just not like that. I just don't, I can't be bothered to do it, I guess. I just don't care. Also, when I was younger, the rules of gift giving, I didn't know who I was supposed to get things for and who not to. I remember back in high school, I would get gifts from people that I didn't expect to. I would think, oh my God, this person person really cares about me and I need to get them something back, the next year I would overdo it and make like a really long list of people that I need to get gifts for. And then I would give them these gifts after agonizing at the mall for hours and hours, standing in line. And I would feel so proud of myself. But then I would realize only half of those people gifted me things and they were surprised that I gave them gifts. And it was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, why can't this be clearer? Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm just stressing myself out, wasting money. Like, what the hell? It was always me overdoing it or underdoing it. And either way, I feel guilty. I don't get it. I think that aspect of it, the whole tribe thing, like, has always been a little bit of a blind spot for me. So I was looking on Reddit the other day, browsing personality forums on what their favorite gift they ever got was. One person on the INTJ forum said something so incredible that I wish we could adopt. She basically said, I have opted out of holiday gift giving. My friends and family will get surprise gifts from me throughout the year, but they know not to expect anything from me for Christmas. And I thought, that is so smart. Throughout the year, I do see things that I think, oh my God, my best friend would love this, or oh my God, my husband would love this. Those surprise, spontaneous gifts are so much more meaningful sometimes than the ones that have like an obligation, or that would be so amazing if we as a society could all just switch to that instead of pressuring each other to shop for the holiday season just because it's a commercialized holiday where we're supposed to buy gifts for each other. That just creates obligation and strips some of the warm feelings out of it. I think at this point, opting out of the holidays, it would sound kind of asshole-ish, but maybe in the future, I might work towards that. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind once I have kids. I'm sure kids are a big part of it, right? I did make a video about this. One of my very first videos was me talking about how I'm afraid to have kids. And I thought that as I got older, that it would change and that I would feel like I'm ready to have kids and I want to be a mom. And it seems like so many of my friends go through that process. They have baby fever where they love interacting with babies and they want to be a mom and they have all these feelings that I just can't relate with. So I have no idea what that feels like, honestly. I know that the clock is ticking and I have to probably have kids soon if I want to. And I'm pretty sure I should. Yeah. So many people will tell you you're never going to feel ready to have kids. If everyone else is feeling that way, then, maybe that's just normal and I just have to do it and jump into it. But that's the thing. Having a child, it literally changes your whole entire life. Your whole entire life. You have to take care of this human being. All of its responsibilities are your responsibilities for what, the first 16 to 18 years of their life. I can barely take care of myself. And to think that I have to take care of another human being is so crazy to me. It really feels like I'm jumping into a black hole where I don't know what's on the other side. What if I don't get along with my kid? What if my kid is just like a totally different personality type as me and doesn't respect me? There's so many things that I think about that scare me. I relate with people who say that they don't want to have kids. There's a lot of factors working towards me thinking that I should probably have kids, but a lot of it comes from the outside pressure. There's nothing inside of me saying I want to be a mother. But I do know that I like to experience new things in the future. If I don't have kids, I probably will regret it. And I have talked to older people who have said, now that I'm older, I see that all of my friends have their families over for the holidays. They have people taking care of them. And there's a certain loneliness that comes with not having family that goes on to make their own families and just the widening of the tree, I guess. And so when I hear those types of stories, I think, oh, you're right. You're right. You've been through this. You've experienced this. I see the loneliness in their eyes and the longing. When I rewind everything back to my current moment here, I don't feel that want or the need to have kids, but I feel like it's probably the right thing to do. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way? I did not mean to talk about kids and stuff at all. Okay, anyway, I will get on with it and talk about the type that I got. I got this type about 2 weeks ago. Normally, you know me, I would have just hopped on my channel the very next morning and started talking about it. This time, I have marinated on this type and I have talked to a lot of people and I've watched class typing videos to go back and relearn certain things so that I'm not jumping the gun. This type that I received was very, very unexpected. When I first got it, I'm not going to lie, that night, I felt nauseous because I thought, what? How is that me? I know that that was just a momentary reaction, but that night I definitely felt sick. I've had 2 weeks now to marinate on this and sit on this and research. And so I have come to really see what they're seeing and to accept it. However, it is not an official typing. So if you watch my last video, you know that the self type that I ultimately came up with is MF. FINE, consume, sleep, play, blast. It was very difficult for me to come to settle on that as my self type because obviously FINE is INFP, which means that I would be INFP in Myers Briggs and OP. The type that they got back with is double feminine, SETE, play, consume, sleep, and missing blast. Unofficially, the two teams have unanimously agreed that that is my type, which makes me an ST, which, yo, someone who has believed they were NF their entire lives, to be told that you are an ST is incredibly shocking. So I really did struggle with that assessment. SETE is an ESFP jumper. Some people in that category are Mel Robbins, who I love, by the way. Do I see myself as a Mel Robbins? No, I see her as so assertive. And of course, he's double masculine versus I'm double feminine. And blast is incredibly high for her, whereas I'm missing blast. Even your same type, you're going to be very different based on your modalities and your animals. Some other people that come up in that same SETE is David Goggins, also love his book got me through my marathon training. His book is amazing. So David Goggins, Jackie Chan, and then also Kristen Bell. Do I think that I'm similar to any of them? No, not really. But then again, in all of my videos, they say that I'm talking about the sensory and I'm talking very clearly, ST clear. And then when I go into my demon states is when my FI and my NI come out, which is why I feel very NF. It's a very interesting type. By the way, just to piggyback on the double feminine, which is a visual modality, I could not make sense of any of this until I made this diagram for myself to see where everything is pinging. And once I did that, I was sort of able to visually orient myself. I have feminine, savior, SE. So I'm constantly taking in the sensory, observing the sensory. Obviously, masculine SE is all about memory of sensory details, but because I'm feminine, it means that it slips away, which, yeah, I'm skipping over FI and going to TE. What makes sense in the outside world? Like, how does it work? How does it fit? But also because it's a feminine state and it's only single activated, that is why I am so movable. That's why I'm not very assertive with people, but I also do tend to get swept up in their opinions. If someone else's reasonings make sense to me, then I tend to adopt it into my understanding. And then when you go into FI, which I skip over, it's double activated and it's masculine. And then my NI, inferior function, is also masculine. It makes sense that I would identify myself as NF because that is my masculine inner demon world where I am when I'm with myself. That's how I see myself. And that's how I thought that I was in the outside world too. But according to their assessment, I am relying on my savior, SETE. And when you go into my animals, play, consume, sleep, blast, I always knew that I was consumed pretty high up. A lot of people do also agree that I have very skib energy. It came as a shock to me that I was savior play because I am very introverted and I don't talk to a lot of people at all. But I will say that I don't have blast, and I always knew that. And so I think I do rely on the play to be able to interact with people. I cannot blast, you guys. I cannot. Just to give you guys an example, last week I had to interview a bunch of people for a restaurant manager position because long story short, I'm opening up a restaurant in January. My family owns a brewery here in Hawaii and we're opening up a few more locations. It was my job to hire the new restaurant managers and I had to do all of the Zoom interviews. It was so nerve-wracking for me. I know that I was the one interviewing them, but my heart was pounding and I was nauseous and it just took everything out of me to do it because I don't have blast. When I'm trying to tell them the necessary information about the role and the new location, I literally had to read it from a script. When it comes to information, I always say too much or I don't say enough. basically I sound like a babbling baby. And so I had to use a script and read a script and make it sound organic and authentic. Prior to the calls, I was chugging energy drinks. Ugh, it was horrible. I'm so glad it's over. That blast is such a problem for me. I agree with missing blast for sure. I feel like it's a very interesting contradiction to have feminine saviors and masculine demons. I basically have a demon masculine introverted world. Everybody will describe me as very calm. And I always thought, what do you mean I'm calm? I feel very emotional and reactive, but try not to show that to others. Maybe to the outside world, I do seem very calm. Another resource that really helped me to come to terms with this typing is watching the class typing on Jordan Byers. She is an ESFP, not a jumper, but she also has a masculine introverted world. Even though her channel is all about makeup, there are times where she comes across very NF. That was very eye-opening to see someone who also has masculine introverted world, whereas the saviors are feminine. As another cross-check, I also reached out to someone who is my type twin, well, unofficially, right? Her name is Gina, and she actually had an interview with Benjamin, and she had been officially typed by Dave and Shan. So she is also the exact type, double feminine, SETE, play, consume, sleep, blast. I watched her entire interview. We could be pretty similar in that whenever I say anything or make a claim, I always tend to say because I feel like I have to explain myself and have a reason. And that goes both ways. When someone tells me something, I need to know why. Why? I need more reasons why. And I think that why is the TE, always seeking reasons. We're pretty similar in that sense. And we even message each other on Facebook. I had her watch a few of my videos and she said, oh, we are very alike. We're always talking about because, and why. And she also thought that she was intuitive prior to being officially typed. But I think in her case, she thought that she was ENTP. So she thought she was NT versus I thought I was NF. This is supposedly my exact type twin, right? Like down to the modalities and the animals. I'm curious if you guys see the same functions at play and the same missing animals. I'll leave the link down below. If you guys could watch it, I would super appreciate it. I am still in the process of coming to terms with the type. I'm trying to see it as I believed I was FINE for so long. To a certain extent, it still holds true because if that is my demon masculine inner world where all of my energy is focused, then of course that's what I would consider my identity. So that checks out. So I try to reframe it as I'm still an NF inside, but maybe I am an NF that has gained ST superpowers. And I have to think about it that way and frame it in a positive light in order for me to really accept it and to get on board with it, I guess. What do I do now that I know that I have SETE as saviors that I didn't know I had? Maybe I could use this to my advantage. Before this, I was 100% sure I was intuitive and NE. Now that I possibly have SETE as my saviors, what can I do to use this to its highest potential? Prior to this, I had pushed everything sensory away, thinking, that's not for me. I'm not good at that. I suck at the physical world. If this is something that I'm actually good at, then I might as well give it a shot. I've always felt that I suck in the sensory physical world. I'm so clumsy. I'm so aloof. I'm so forgetful of things. I lose things. Like the outdoors overwhelms me. Camping, the gear, equipment, setting, all of that stuff just intimidates and overwhelms me so much. If I am Savior SE, then I should be better at sensory things than I give myself credit for. And maybe because it's feminine, I don't feel like it's something that I have a good visibility and strength over. There are random sensory things that I am very good at. For example, visuals, aesthetics. I love that. I live for that. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll see like I'm all about the feed on a post level and from an outside feed level. My background is in marketing. I hate anything to do with analytics and stats and just anything data. But when it comes to aesthetics, content creation, writing, branding, anything like that, like I kill at that. That was always where I put in all of my time and all of my eggs is the packaging, the design. I always thought it was my NF, my understanding of psychology and consumer behavior, where I could put myself in other people's shoes and think what is appealing, what is not appealing, what should I change. But maybe that is a feminine SE thing, is aesthetics. I don't consider myself like a great dancer, but boy, do I love dancing. I have a lot of friends who don't like dancing. They awkwardly on the dance floor will participate, mostly drink and talk, but they really don't like to dance. But something about rhythm, I've always loved rhythm. I played drums in high school, which I guess it takes a lot of coordination. And I freaking love rhythm games. I was really into DDR, the Taiko game, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, any rhythm game, like I love, 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 love. Like I could play that forever. Also, when I ran my marathon last year, I really don't like the outdoors. I hate running. I hate sweating. I hate the sunshine. I did it and it felt equal parts difficult and easy. Difficult in a sense that I was battling the elements. It was so hot and needing to rely on my own strength and motivation to keep pushing forward. But at the same time, it just felt very easy in a sense that all I have to do is listen to a few books and music and podcasts and just keep stepping one foot forward in front of the other, and I'll eventually get there. I finished the marathon in 4 hours and 22 minutes. I wanted to finish in 4:20, but I messed up. I got very close to my goal for my very first marathon. I was a little surprised at how much easier it was than I expected it to be. Also, another thing, maybe this has something to do with sensory. I am very picky about food. I always have been. Since I was small, there were a certain category of vegetables that I just never wanted to eat. And that included like tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, celery, beets. I still can't eat beets. Okay. For some reason, beets to me taste like insects. They taste like how insects smell, if that makes any sense. So when I put a beet in my mouth, it just I can't eat it. I can't eat it. And the same with cucumber. Cucumber smells like BO to me. It's stupid because they're all edible, natural things, and people give me crap all the time about how I'm so picky about food. But I am. I am. At the start of the journey, I thought it had something to do with Demon SI because Demon SI tends to be picky about food, but maybe it has something to do with feminine sensory and how sensory just makes me a lot more sensitive to these food experiences in a way that other people aren't. And I also really hated when orange juice had pulp in it. Things like that aren't supposed to be there, I really don't like. Another thing, I don't like clams and mussels or oysters. When you get that unexpected bite of sand, no, 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 no. That shouldn't be there. The potential of a piece of sand being in my clam or mussel is enough to make me not ever want to eat it. I could go on and on. I didn't eat salads until I was in high school because I didn't like the texture of eating leaves. Anyway, it was really always the sensory experiences, I guess, that made me so picky about food. So if you guys are also feminine SE, I'm curious, are you guys also particular about your food experiences? So the last thing I wanted to talk about is like a really big insecurity of mine, and I'm now wondering where it falls in my functions and my animals, but this thing is driving. I don't drive. I haven't driven in almost 5 years. Driving is so scary to me, and at this point I feel like I and everybody else are much safer if I am not on the road. In the very short time of my life that I did drive, I got into like 4 or 5 accidents, all very minor, of course, but they were so awful and gave me like PTSD basically. It's because I'm so inattentive. And I mentioned in a previous video, I think, that I was diagnosed with inattentive ADD as an adult. And I'm very inattentive to the outside world. And maybe this goes back to my demon introverted world that I am always choosing to focus on. But I am very aloof and I am very inattentive. I get into these stupid fender bender type situations. And every single time it's like, I want to cry. I want to cry because I don't know who's in the other car, and whoever's walking out of that car, they could be someone really scary and mean and just chew my head off. The physiological reaction of even getting into an accident was just so horrible and jarring for me that I don't ever want to drive again. I don't. And it's something that I've been working with my therapist on too. You can't avoid it forever, but at this point, I'm wondering maybe I should avoid it forever. Self-driving cars are coming out and there's Uber and all these different alternatives. And I feel like if it's just safer for everyone else that I'm not driving, then maybe that's the way it should be. I don't know. I don't know. That's one of the first things I thought of when I got feminine SE savior. how does that play into my aversion and fear of driving? Does anyone else out there struggle with the same thing? I'm really lucky now that I live within walking distance to grocery stores, my parents' house, the mall. Everything is walking distance. Thank goodness. It's really the inner city urban driving that is so scary to me. I don't mind driving long, long, long distances. I love it because I can just listen to music, but it's when there's people and cars and things that I need to be attentive to. That is where I just space out and I mess up, and it's just so scary. It's so scary. Is it because my attention is always focused inward and because I'm not focusing it outward? That's why I'm so inattentive. I don't know. Obviously, I could go on and on and on, just bringing up examples of how the SETE fits in. But of course, I'm very aware that it's not an official typing yet. And so I'm just trying to try it on and understand how they all came to agree on that type. So far, I feel like it holds up. I think I'm curious what you guys think, especially if you guys have been studying OP for a while. Do you agree with that type? Double feminine, SETE, play, consume, sleep, and missing blast. What do you guys think? It's good to be back after 2 weeks of not being here. I am very busy with opening that new restaurant. It's opening up on January 4th, so there's a lot of work to do. But beyond that, I have no more school, so I hope to make videos more frequently in the future, especially to continue unpacking this new type that I got. One thing that I do want to expand on in the future, demon masculine NI and how that shows up for me. This whole time I had been focusing on TE or SI as my inferior functions, but NI is something totally new that I'm looking into. Of course, it does have to do with future planning and narrowing down. Yeah, I suck at that, but do I suck at it as much or more than TESI things? I'm not sure because I feel like I suck at all of them. One thing that's so interesting to me is that it constantly comes up that people with demon and I have like this whole ghost thing where they're scared of the paranormal and of ghosts. And yeah, that's so me. I don't know if that's just anecdotal, but I'm very, very afraid of ghosts and seeing things. My imagination is just so wild that like when I was young, I had to like leave the bathroom door open when I showered and stuff. I was always so scared that I would open my eyes while I'm washing my hair and someone would be there or, something like that. It's gotten a lot more calm as I've gotten older, but that was a huge, huge problem for me in the past. I think it really affected my ability to do things because I was so scared of my own imagination. The demon and I is something that I will continue to look into and possibly talk about in my next video. But if you guys have any insight on that, please share it with me because I am all about, that whole paranormal world. As much as I'm interested in it, I am terrified of it. It's equal parts. I love it, but I hate it so much. I have not talked this much in a really long time, and so my throat actually feels sore. Thanks so much for listening to this long ass video. That's all for today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.